So, Spencer, just our usual weekly catch up. First of all, let's just quickly reflect on Saturday, a 1-0 victory against Maidenhead. What were your thoughts on the game?
A very welcome 3 points, wasn't it? It was not pretty, but it was dogged, against another full-time, well-funded side. And I think just by the skin of our teeth, we deserved it. And it was great to put a smile on people's faces, great positivity when you're the underdog and when things aren't quite going your well. It was great for the fans and the players. You could see how much it meant to them when Dom scored. He was disappointed with that great chance in the first half, and thrilled for everyone. But it's the old cliche: don't get too high with the wins, don't get too low with the defeats, and we go again.
So, as we start to look ahead towards Saturday, conscious there might be a couple of team changes. Have you got any updates on the team?
Yeah, well, obviously, Louis Holzman is suspended. I thought both yellows were quite harsh, particularly the second one, which is disappointing because I thought he had a good game. But we've got Birdie available, who's been, who's got great pedigree for us and at a higher level. Obviously, we'll come on to who we've got to face. As I said to Omar Ali, I've told I think he needs to find another club at the moment. He's got a lot of things going on with Somalia as well. So I'm leaving him out of the squad. We're thrilled to have announced that we've signed Amir Hadi from St Ives. He's a player that has had some trials in the summer at full-time Step 2 clubs. Didn't quite get a deal, but he's been setting Step 3 on fire. He's 6'1". He's a 10 winger striker. Great attitude. Came in training on Monday. It's been a bit of a drawn-out process with the 7-day approach, but he's scoring goals. He's getting assists. Look, got to balance that with he hasn't kicked a ball at Step 2 yet. So I've warned him what type of challenge it is, and it's a big step up, but we're all excited for it. Look, we're both looking at each other in the short term. We have to try these type of things, but we're very excited to have him, as I said, because he's literally, been setting step 3 on fire, and that's what we need. We need that real determination to move forward. So I think he's a really good addition.
So next up then, we've got, I think, the second of the teams that came down from the National League last season in Dagenham Redbridge. What are your thoughts ahead of that game for that?
Yeah, it's honestly, I don't want to rinse and repeat what I said last week. These 4-game run are all against, big sides full time. As I said, I feel like it's a promotion, but that is exciting. We're going to a new ground, one of the biggest sides in the league. Look, not going to beat around it. They've not had the greatest of starts, but look at the talent they've got. They've got an experienced manager, and they've got great fans, and they demand a lot there, and that's a pressure. Obviously, we've just had a win. They've had a couple of wins. Look at who they've got up front. Andy Carroll. Look at I think a fabulous player in RX, Joe Haig. Sadly, Reggie is not available. I messaged him. I apologised. I should have contacted him earlier. He's had a horrible kidney injury, but we're looking forward to seeing them both on Saturday. One on the pitch less, and then the other who'll be in the stands. But it's a fantastic opportunity for us. We're underdogs again. We don't mind that. Quite frankly, we are where we are. We've talked about it all before, but it's a great place for our fans to go. We've just won, and quite frankly, I think the pressure's on them, and rightfully so. With their full-time budget that they have, and there's a lot of thought process on them that they should be pushing for promotions, and we've got to go there and enjoy it. And we're in a good place. We've had a good week. We had a behind closed doors training game on Wednesday night. Didn't quite go how I wanted it to go. Even though we scored 9 goals in 70 odd minutes, I was hoping for a tougher test, but I was very grateful to the side that came down. Didn't pick up any injuries. We only played, I think we didn't have 8 starters playing in the game. And, the reality to it, as we were looking at a few trialists, which we haven't taken. So we're looking around. We know we've got to strengthen. John Anunga's had the cast off, so he should be back in a week or so. So, look, really positive week we've had. It's a massive challenge, not going to beat around it. Nothing has changed except for the fact that we've got a vital 3 points, which is what we need. We need to pick up points, whoever it's against, but we're very much looking forward to the match on Saturday, and obviously at home to another massive club, arguably the biggest club in the division, Torquay, on Wednesday night at home.
You mentioned it there briefly about the fans. I think the fans were the 12th man last Saturday. Are you hoping they can do the same this weekend?
I'm not hoping. I know there will be. It's segregated, which we can all talk about that. But look, they're going to be massively outnumbered. But the difference on Saturday was they were singing from the kickoff. And look, we're in a tough rut. We're not going to pretend otherwise. I'm not stupid enough to think we're definitely going to win on Saturday, but we've shown that we can compete. We're trying to overachieve. We've had the most terrible luck, but we've got good players. And every game is so tight. And we edged Saturday. On other games, we've played almost the same and lost. So they're tight moments. But what a challenge! You've got Andy Carroll playing for him. He's played for England, Newcastle, Liverpool. I think that's a great excitement. I think it's fantastic for the league that he's there. It's a hell of a challenge, and you've got to embrace these type of things. And quite frankly, where we are as a club is generally a good place. It's tough at the moment, not going to pretend, never have, won't shirk it, working super, super hard, again, so many hours trying to get the right players in. Had fantastic support from the board, but the fans, as you said there, were absolutely magnificent on Saturday. And I know they'll do it again. They're particularly great away from home because they're sort of forced into an area, and they've been so supportive. And I know they want to win football games, so I've no problem when they're upset, disappointed if we're not winning games. But those of them understand have been magnificent, and fingers crossed we can go and get another result on Saturday.
And just one last final question. This is the first time we've spoken to you since the FA Trophy draw. What were your thoughts on that, Walton and Hersham away?
Probably that, the silence. Look, the trophy, I think, is a very unimaginative tournament until you get within the sight of Wembley. So you've got to get through the early rounds. Walton are flying. They're at the top of their division. They're having a magnificent season. So it was going to be a challenge in any event. I think my views on that particular pitch, are well known. But look, I think it's another exciting game. Again, arguably we're underdogs. There's only a few league places between us, but we'll come to that in a few weeks. At the moment, I've got to worry about Dagenham, Torquay, Dorking. Quite frankly, Walton can wait, but could have been a lot worse. And let's not beat around the bush. It's 5 minutes from my house, so there are some pluses. But they're my local side, so I always wish them well. But we'll move on. But first, let's deal with Dagenham.
Brilliant. Well, cheers, Spencer, and good luck for Saturday.
Thanks a lot, Mike.